So Martin, welcome back to the show.
Always good to be here. Thanks for having me back.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm really, really good.
Awesome.
And for everyone out there, I invited Martin to talk about a new great resources for everyone in trouble sleeping, which is his podcast. And before we get to that, just a quick look back upon like when the first time we met, you, me, and Michael. Do you remember when that was?
No, it's got to be about a year ago.
That's what I felt too. So I was like, wasn't that? So I looked in my phone, and you know when it was? It was actually January 12th of this year.
Wow.
And I wanted to go back to that spot because at that first time we met, I think you mentioned that you actually had some thoughts about, you had thought about making podcasts, or tell how did it come about?
Yeah, so I had this thought to make a podcast.
Yeah.
But there were already people out there. Well, actually, there's not that many people out there doing specifically insomnia-related podcasts, apart from really yourself.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do something that's exactly the same as what you're doing, because your podcast is just such a great resource. And it's not... I didn't know how I could offer something that would be better than what you're already doing. So I'm racking my brains about this, because I really wanted to contribute to the insomnia community, the ecosystem. So I thought, well, almost all the clients I work with, when they first start working with me, when they first start implementing CBTI techniques, they have this real concern that it's not going to work for them.
Yeah.
Or I've tried everything and this isn't going to work. So right from the bat, even when they're feeling committed to the techniques, right from the bat, there's this nagging doubt in their mind. Is this going to work for me? What if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
So I wanted to address this and just focus on success stories and positive messaging that you can get over chronic insomnia. You can get past it. You can regain sleep confidence. So I thought I'd do a podcast where I talk to people who feel confident in their ability to sleep, who have got past insomnia, who had insomnia, who felt that they just couldn't get past it, that they were beyond hope, that they tried everything, but they're now sleeping well and they've got confidence in their ability to sleep. Because I think that's such a powerful message. It's one thing for us to sit here and tell people you can get through it. It's another, though, for us to constantly be talking to people who have gone through it, have gone through the process. So that's how I ended up. So the podcast, the aim of it is to kind of jump between talking to people that have gone through CBTI techniques or any other techniques that they particularly found helpful, and kind of mix this in with talking to experts such as yourself, and getting them to share some insight and some of their own success stories when they've worked with patients or clients as well.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. I've actually had people specifically ask me for success stories, things like that. And so far, I think the second episode is up, right?
The third one is up. Yeah, the last one that went up last week was with Mike Schwartz, who we were just talking about. Yeah, I'm going to be uploading one maybe today or tomorrow, which is a great one. It's from someone that actually had no real problem with sleep, but they read a book, and this book told them that if they don't get 8 hours of sleep, all these horrific health consequences are going to happen. So another reason why we're always saying don't judge your sleep based on sleep duration. Far better to judge it based on how you feel. But anyway, this guy, he was sleeping fine, felt good during the days, but he read this book, and then as soon as he started trying to get more sleep and started to think and worry about his sleep, just took a nosedive, and he really struggled with insomnia because of trying to sleep and get a certain number of hours.
Now, follow-up question to that then, if you think about it, you would think that would be an easy fix, quote unquote. You just tell him you actually don't need that much. But I'm guessing it wasn't that easy to then go back to sleeping well again.
Oh, absolutely not, because confidence was shot. He just had no confidence anymore in his ability to sleep. So I think that he did maybe respond more quickly to the techniques. Some people take longer than others. I think he responded quite quickly when he took a step back and implemented CBTI techniques in an attempt to get his sleep back on track. But the great thing is now he recognizes that it was because he tried to get a certain amount of sleep and he tried to control sleep that was the driver of his insomnia. And I think for some people, just recognizing that alone can be really helpful.
Absolutely. And now, so far, how have people generally have been pretty open to guesting the podcast?
Yeah, I've actually been quite surprised. I thought a lot of people would be like, no, this is quite private, this is quite personal, or I don't want to talk about it. What if it comes back?
Right.
But generally, I find that people are very receptive to it. Like I just say, what do you think about coming on the podcast and just sharing your story? I think it will give a lot of hope to other people. But I think they can recognize it because they remember when they were really struggling. And I think they recognize what a helpful resource it would have been. So generally people are very generous and very supportive, and they'll give their time and they'll come on and talk about it.
Absolutely. I do think that I just today actually somebody left a comment on the channel here saying, I think she's from Brazil, and she was like, I've looked all of the English speaking part of the internet and in Portuguese too, and never really found anything until she stumbled across our channels. And like I think people recognize that it's so bizarre, like millions and millions of people have this trouble. There is great ways of getting past some of it, but based on that, I think a lot of people will want to contribute their own stories. So that's cool. And so how many episodes have you lined up so far?
Well, there's 3 that are live now because I only started like 3-4 weeks ago. A lot of it was just logistical, getting it all set up. But I've got this one that I just talked about coming up this week, and then I've got your one coming up next week. When we talked a few weeks ago, might have been a couple of months ago now. I know, but right? I think everything we talked about is still completely relevant to today. 100%. So that'll be coming up next, and tomorrow I'm talking to someone to record a new podcast, another success story. Nice. And then I've got another success story lined up too, from someone who doesn't speak English as a first language, so they were a little bit hesitant to talk to me live, so I'm going to be just sending them some questions by email. Kind of the thing that you do where you read like an email exchange. I think that's still really powerful. Still good, so that's lined up too. So I don't think I'm going to struggle too much, which I thought I might, finding these success stories, but it's a combination of people that find me through like the YouTube channel or through my website, and clients that I work with that get the results that they want, and they're sleeping better. I kind of got this pool to draw from, and people are really receptive to coming on.
It's awesome. So I think we'll just finish up here with where can people find it? So if you just search for Insomnia Coach on the normal podcast applications, like Apple or Google, or you can just go to the website, insomniacoach.com. In the resources tab, you'll see the link, or if you just want to go straight there, it's just insomniacoach.com/podcast, and you can find them all there. Perfect. And I'll put the links here too in the description. So thanks so much for coming on, Martin.
Great. Pleasure as always.
Okay.